Jordan,
Michael,
it's time.
let's do it.
Let's get into it. So the Nintendo Direct happened. We watched it, and it was very, very fun presentation overall. A lot of interesting sort of left field announcements, that you might even say. And we're just going to go through and pretty briefly, I think, give our thoughts about everything. But who knows? Maybe there's some nuggets of insight in here too. We'll see. First of all, Mario and Luigi Brothership, which was something I don't know if I ever expected to see a new Mario and Luigi game again.
Yeah, because I think we were talking about like I figured it was a dead series because Alpha Dream was shut down like quite a few years ago now.
Exactly.
Because they even mentioned that it's the first brand new game in the series in I think almost 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
The last one was Paper Jam,
which was its own interesting situation there. And then we had the 2 remakes, which like the Mario and Luigi decline is real.
Yeah, because like I'd gotten the Superstar Saga remake. I liked it, but I was not the biggest fan because there was some like again it's a lot of like smaller changes, and I didn't even bother with Bowser's Inside Story because a remake on 3DS of a DS game, like you just play the DS game.
Absolutely.
But I'm very excited for this one though because I love like the animation style and like how like fluid everything looks. A lot of the Bros moves also look like a lot of fun, like the like hammer like whirlwind, I guess in a way.
Sure, yeah. The UFO, like Mario and Luigi UFO thing. Yeah, it looks great. I think the fluidity is huge. Like I assume it's like 60 FPS. It looks nice and very fluid. And then the animation style is like kind of cel shaded, right?
Yeah, and it's almost like taking like the box art of like the Mario of the games and making it like into like a full 3D style, basically.
Which they've sort of been attempting back on the 3DS, but now they can
actually
do it.
Pull it all the way off.
Yeah, and it's just fun to see new Mario enemies and environments. I always love it when there's new characters brought into the series.
Yeah, because when I first saw it, and like obviously because it starts off with like Peach's Castle, I was a little worried it's gonna be another Mushroom Kingdom romp, but it looks like it's not going to be. It's like on like different islands and stuff.
Some weirdo island.
Yes, which is exactly what I want from the Mario and Luigi series.
Almost vaguely Bowser's Fury feel, just like the different islands out in the ocean. I don't know if there's any inspiration taken there, but this started the trend though in the Direct, and we'll get to this a little bit more later. I think of games with names that sound like they're from fake leaks.
Yes.
Like if I read Mario and Luigi Brothership in a fake leak, I'd be like, this is... there's no way this is real.
That is not real. Yeah. I do not believe this. And then I was like, oh wait, it was real. I am a fool.
And so, yeah, I'm very excited. It's cool how many of these games are coming out short term. And they're like big titles. Like I would not have been surprised if this was a 2025 game. Right. And it's November, I think.
Yeah, this is a good segue into the next one we can talk about. So this one is November 7th. And then there's literally one that's the week after, which is Dragon Quest 3.
Right, so let's talk about Dragon Quest.
It's a kind of a mouthful name of Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake.
Right.
But it's a mouthful, but like it's literally what it says on the tin.
When this first started playing the trailer, I think me and you both thought we were getting a Link Between Worlds remake or something.
Because the girl, like the lady though, there it looks like Hilda.
Yeah.
From Link Between Worlds. But like I kept going, I'm like, this is not. Then as soon as I started like the HD, I'm like, wait, Dragon Quest? Like, is it? I'm like, are we finally getting like more news about this?
It's finally happening. I don't know how many years it's been since.
3.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's 2021 when it was announced.
Not the longest wait from this Direct.
we could talk about that next, but Dragon Quest 3 is one that I've been waiting on, particularly for a long time because I am a huge Dragon Quest fan, and 3 is one of the few that is basically one of the ones I've not finished. I haven't even bought a copy of it yet myself. So I've been waiting for this one to come out, so I'm very excited to be able to play it for the first time, experience why people love this one so much, and then go through it probably in the chronological order. Of 3, then 1, then 2.
Yep, because we're also getting those
the
1 and 2 remakes, which were rumored.
Yeah, and I personally was still hoping for like a full trilogy in one.
Yeah,
but I'm not as upset, mainly because we're still getting all 3, but also because it makes more sense because I know 3 is a much bigger game than especially 1 and 2.
I think this mirrors what they did when they released these on Super Famicom. Actually,
that makes sense.
Where I think 3 was a standalone, and then 1 and 2 were
and then they did
together.
The same thing on Game Boy Color as well.
Yeah, yep, that's right. So I'm not like a huge Dragon Quest person by any means, but I did love the animation on the enemies.
Oh, the sprite work is gorgeous.
Yeah. I'm not huge into the 2D HD aesthetic, but the like battles, they look awesome. I love how I love the animation on the enemy sprites. It's so good.
Because I know some people are like weren't really a big fan of this or of the style to begin with, and like as it's kept being used, people are like kind of like less and less intrigued. But like I personally think it works really well for Dragon Quest. So I'm very excited to be able to play this game especially for the first time. Maybe I'll have like more games on my Switch of Dragon Quest. So.
Right. It definitely, in comparison to I think one of the other well, I don't even know if this is recent anymore, but the Live Alive remake, this looks much better than that to me. Yeah. As far as the style goes.
I still like how that looked, and I'm still glad that it even came over here in the first place.
Yes.
But I definitely think they put a lot more time and effort into Dragon Quest 3.
Which makes sense. It is like one of these seminal RPGs or whatever.
Like it's like it's basically like in Japan, it's basically like the face of Dragon Quest is Dragon Quest 3.
Right. Isn't there a rumor that like they had to like create a law because everyone like took the day off to buy Dragon Quest 3
it's like they stopped releasing them on weekdays. Because people kept like basically skipping school or skipping work just to get Dragon Quest games. And they started releasing them on Saturdays. I don't know if it's law, but I think like they just changed their release schedule to release it on Saturdays instead, which I'm like, that's hilarious to me.
Okay, next up, I want to talk about this just because I'm intrigued to know what it is. You said there were 2 Apple Arcade exclusives that are getting ported to Switch.
So, we can talk about the first obvious one, which is Fantasian.
Right.
Which is very important because Sakaguchi, the guy who made Final Fantasy, it was like his newest game was locked behind Apple Arcade. Right. That's now finally getting ported to everything else.
And I think they said that the soundtrack is Uematsu.
Yeah,
right?
it's Uematsu. Yep. Which I think everyone's like, it's like a dream team of them working together. And it's even funnier because who's publishing it is Square Enix. Which Sakaguchi had left back in the day, and now he's working with them again.
It's coming full circle.
But it looks good. And I always forget, but you probably couldn't really tell in the direct, but like the backgrounds, like they actually made those sets.
Oh
yeah,
like they're physical objects,
like physical sets. Like they made them, like took pictures of them.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah,
because I did notice they were I guess not pre-rendered, but like
that kind of style. But like they literally built like those sets as models.
That is awesome.
Which I forgot about that. And
I love that.
Yeah. But I'm very happy that actually is getting like people can actually play that outside of having to get like an iPod or iPod or like iPhone or something like that. And then the other one, which you're probably not gonna expect me to talk about, is Hello Kitty.
Okay, I was not.
That was an Apple Arcade exclusive.
Finally, the Hello Kitty.
I only want to talk about it for 2 reasons. One of which is that it's literally the same name as the South Park joke. Yeah, with the World of Warcraft episode, and they're like, I think it's Cartman's like, Butters, like, aren't you always playing on your PC? He's like, yeah, I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure. It's the same exact name.
Same name.
It's the same name.
Yes.
And then the other thing, the reason why I want to talk about it is I didn't know about this until a few days ago. Is that there's one certain character in it that I might actually get the game for.
Okay.
Big challenges.
Big challenges.
Big challenges. Let me bring up a picture of it for you, because
Am I required to now include one in the podcast?
You don't have to if you don't want to. People can look him up on their own. But I want you to see what he looks like.
Okay, I've seen this guy before. Actually, all right.
I don't think he's been in any Hello Kitty merch.
Well, I'm very happy that it's for those at home.
Yes,
it's like a alligator or a crocodile, and it's very funny.
Yeah, he's a silly little guy, and I like him. I didn't know this. Apparently, he's created back in 1978, and has not been in like any actual merch.
Oh wow! Yeah. The lore goes deep with big challenges.
Yeah. I don't know. He's a silly guy. I heard he was in the game. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll buy the game just for him.
Yeah. So I would recommend looking up a picture of this. It's very cute.
Yes.
Did you see that? There's another character. Its name is Goatsy.
Shut
up.
Character
has been added. You should also look up an image of this as well.
Do not. Please no.
Okay, let's talk about something else. Let's talk briefly about the MVC collection. So I think you reminded me of this, and I don't know. I am happy about this. I really like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Yeah. Not because I'm good at it or even the hugest fighting game fan. It's just something I played on Xbox Live Arcade back in the day, and I'm like, I really love the animation and just the pace of it, and the fact that you like select 3 guys to be on your team. I've always liked that. It's why, like with Smash Ultimate, my favorite game mode is probably the Squad Strike thing.
Yeah,
it's like it's just so fun being able to switch different play styles.
Yeah, you kind of like switch on the fly and not have to be like locked into a single type,
exactly,
like a single character to play as.
Absolutely. So I'm just a big fan of that game for not the reasons you think of, but I do like that, and it's got all the other ones too, which are all fine. I've played a handful of them on Dreamcast. And different systems.
I know they did confirm it's getting a physical release as well, which is nice.
That is cool.
And then something I didn't know about, which I think is actually kind of cool, is that you can have a mode to turn on, be able to see hitboxes and hurtboxes.
Sure.
So you can kind of see I think like very few games actually even utilize that. Because I think like they said like the last one like for Marvel vs. Capcom was the Vita version of Ultimate vs. Capcom 3, and only in replays.
Huh.
Which is, I'm like, I guess, but like that's weird.
Is that so when people are like, "There's no way that hit me," they could go back and then be humbled?
But it's only on the Vita version, like no other version. So it's like you have to be like that dedicated to the game.
Yeah. I don't know. This is cool though.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I don't know if I'll find anyone else to actually play this with, but
right.
Glad they're doing it. In terms of re-releases, and there were like quite a few. We got Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. I enjoy that game, and now it's on Switch.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say.
It does.
I mean, it has all the 3DS.
Yeah, it's like it's
stuff.
got 3DS levels, but that's all I got too, honestly.
Briefly, I'll talk about this. There was a Yacht Club Games presentation, and in that show, they talked about how the latest re-release of Shovel Knight is going to bring stereoscopic 3D to all platforms. And it'd be interesting if some of these 3DS games are somehow able to do that. But we still don't even know how Shovel Knight is going to do this. So
like however they're going to do it, like I don't like they have to figure out that for every other system too. So
right. And I guess lastly, as far as I think remakes and re-releases go, let's touch on Ace Attorney.
Yeah. Which is the both investigations games, including the Japanese exclusive second one, which I briefly mentioned it before that I know there is a little bit of controversy with that one currently online. It's really mainly because like they changed a lot of the names, like their official version of the names versus like the fan translation names.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because a lot of those fan translation things have been basically like quote unquote set in stone for years.
I see.
Yeah. Versus like now the new one come out, like the actual version coming out, like they have like different names. People are kind of mad about that. Which personally, I never played the fan translation, so I have no like actual opinion on it.
Yeah.
But I do kind of see where people are coming from because
it's the potential speculative Mother 3 issue of if a official translation came out, like everyone will be mad about how different it is from the fan translation.
It'd be kind of in the same boat as this. But I'm pretty sure people are just still going to be happy that the game's actually coming out over here.
Yeah.
The cool thing too is you can switch between like the new like hand drawn animation and the original pixel art.
When I saw that was like literally it piqued my interest a little bit in the game, maybe for the first time as far as Ace Attorney goes, because I love options like that because you don't feel like you're missing anything from having skipped the original releases. You get to experience that art as it was originally designed.
I don't think you can do like the backgrounds though, which I mean that's fine, but like I think the like actual like character art and sprites are more important than like background sprites.
I imagine it's much more difficult to scale a background like that too, right? So yeah, that's cool. I should give one of these games a try sometime. The closest thing I've ever played is the Famicom Detective Club.
Yeah.
I played, I think, the Super Nintendo remake of The Girl Who Stands Behind.
Something
like that.
I've never played them myself.
It was decent. I think that maybe a more refined game along those lines could be interesting, so I should.
I mean, I've got the whole 6 games, like original 6 games, and then the 2 greatest turning ones on Switch. So you can always borrow them from me anytime. So
I might take you up on that. All right, what do we want to hit next? How about Mario Party?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
We'll save the 2 big ones for last. So this is Super Mario Party Scuttlebug Jamboree. It is.
I'm hoping they invited Scuttlebug to his own jamboree.
Yes. This looks pretty cool. My theory, and I said this I think as the trailer was playing the first time, was okay. These 2 extra maps from old Mario Party. This was going to be DLC for Superstar. They got canned for whatever reason, and they're like, okay, well we got the maps.
Yeah.
Let's stick them into this new one. It looks pretty good. I know not everyone's a big fan of the first Super Mario Party on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very fun.
Yeah.
Especially in comparison to like 9 and 10, which are like really bad.
Yeah. I don't like. I think for me, like, I probably wouldn't be the biggest fan of like all the motion control mini games.
Yeah, I've heard it definitely some people mention that. To me, the motion control games on Super were very fun. I liked those a lot. There was a lot of really good ones, but at the same time, motion control is it's divisive.
Yeah.
You know. And talking to other people, I think a feature to turn off the motion control ones and just get dealt button control games would be
that'd be a nice kind of like compromise where like you can still have them in there, but you can if there hopefully there's enough you can kind of like have like half and half kind of thing where it's like half are motion control, half are like just standard control.
Exactly. It does make me worry that it's a Joy-Con, like you can only play with Joy-Con situation, which I believe Super was that way.
I know that.
Which it was fine. It was still fun, but that's why I prefer Superstar. You know, in almost every way, and the nostalgia factor too.
Because like for me, like I don't even use my Joy-Cons anymore at all. I'm just like I'm exclusively Pro Controller.
I think it is fair to say that the Joy-Cons are Nintendo's most beloved controller,
to say the least. Anyways.
Yes. But I'm still pretty happy for this. It makes sense. Usually we get about 2 to 3 Mario parties on Switch, and we're nearing the end of the life cycle. Throw another one out there. That's fine. I think that this will be a nice addition to the collection. Good options. Okay, what do we do next? Do we do Zelda or do we do Metroid?
Let's do Zelda next.
Zelda. Okay, so this was the highlight of the Direct for me. I am so excited to play this, and I'll say this: a lot of people, there's been a lot made of Zelda as a playable character, and we can discuss that a little bit, I guess. But to me, that's like the least interesting element of this game is that finally it's a Zelda game. It's more so that this core mechanic is just so cool, and I want to talk about what you said because I think it is brilliant how this might unfold a bit like a Metroidvania.
Oh yeah.
And I think what you were meaning is like there'll be this open map more or less, and an item you find on one side of the map might unlock something. Or unlock an area on the other side.
Yeah, you can kind of like make more progress in a different area. They're like, wait, let me go back there again. Kind of like going back and forth across the map.
I think that is really, really cool.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going to cut the difference between the very free, open form gameplay of like the Breath of Zeldas.
Yeah.
And the 2D Zeldas, very focused, puzzle based.
Yeah, kind of like that nice middle ground between the two.
Yeah. I instantly wondered, I don't know if you were thinking the same thing, it's like, what's the drawback here? You literally can just make platforms forever, or what's the deal?
I'm sure there's like a limit.
There is.
Or like an upper limit, I mean.
They, that's sort of been pieced apart by fans already.
Oh, yeah?
Whenever she makes a echo of something, which is like a copy of an object. I don't know if we've even explained the conceit of the game yet.
We probably should.
Let's do that real quick. So the idea here is you get this wand, and you can make copies of like any, or most, like, objects in the game world, and then you can recall those copies whenever you want to solve puzzles. So the example they kept on showing for whatever reason is, look, you can stack beds on top of beds and use them as like a bridge.
Yeah, I love that. It's like bed bridge.
And they all have properties. So like at one point you see her create a trampoline that she's able to bounce on to get over a wall, stuff like that.
Like water, she like was able to swim up through.
Water. That was super cool. But what people have found is whenever she places one, the little friend who comes with you, loses one triangle off of its tail.
Oh,
and it appears over top of the object. So there's a limit to how many things you can bring at one time based on how leveled up your partner is. It looks
so I'm assuming like you'd be able to like get more and more the further in the game you progress.
Yep. And certain guys cost more, or certain objects.
That
so
makes
like
sense.
The Moblin costs 2, I think, to summon, and so that takes off 2 or like 4 altogether when she summons 2 of them.
Man, these internet sleuths are like I never would have picked up on that, to be honest. I'm just like, ooh, you could copy things and put them out in the world. That's cool.
Well, that's perfect though, because you do need like that limiting factor somehow, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just breaks the game.
Otherwise you're just like doing whatever you want. And it just like breaks the entire flow.
So I just love this idea that it's just like much more puzzle based. A super unique mechanic that I can't think of being used in any other game ever, which somehow Zelda has like done it twice now
right.
between Tears of the Kingdom and this. And I love 2D Zelda, and it's been a long time since we got one. I mean, there are controversies here. We can briefly go over them. I personally, I'll just say it. I am nothing but excited for this game.
Yeah.
Maybe the only thing is like, because Link's Awakening did have some performance issues. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
It could be a little rocky.
Yeah.
That's a slight concern, yes. But overall, like gameplay wise, I'm nothing but excited.
Yeah,
for this.
I think it'll do better because like it is using the same art style as the Link's Awakening remake, but it doesn't have the like the foggy.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. Yeah. I didn't know if that was just me, but it looked different in that regard.
Well, I'm thinking,
field or whatever.
yeah, doing that in the Link's Awakening remake, I think that was more of a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
Than like an actual like performance necessity, basically.
Right. Anyway, yeah. So let's talk like just a little bit about some of the feedback I've seen online already. There's like a real growing discontent surrounding Zelda's portrayal in this, which is like she should have been like a spellcaster rather than, I don't know, someone who uses like a very singular ability or something like that. Again, I don't care because I think the mechanic is so cool, and I never had like, I guess, some like image in my mind of how a Zelda should be played or whatever.
And like even though like every Zelda is different.
Yeah, that too, right? We don't know when or where this takes place in the timeline. I guess it's kind of linked to the past.
Yeah, like there is some like, it's to kind of as a side tangent, people are thinking it's like somewhere like on the link to the past like area. Yeah, because if you look at like especially like the like that or like the key art, you can tell it kind of lines up pretty well with the Link's Awakening box, like the world map. Yeah,
for Link to the Past.
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't know exactly, but I didn't have any preconceived notions of what Zelda should be like, so it doesn't bother me. And I also saw people saying, well, isn't it kind of safe that Nintendo is doing something different with Zelda because it's just a Zelda game?
Yeah.
So she won't control the same as Link, so isn't that safe? I'm like, isn't it the opposite?
Yeah, like it's like my brothers in Christ. Like it's still a mainline The Legend of Zelda game. Like it's literally they're still using the same like franchise name. Like if they were gonna play it safe, they wouldn't have called it that.
Exactly. What do they call it? Like Zelda's Adventure?
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah. Or the CDI.
I'm like, I hope they don't call it the I was saying, like, I'm like, what is this? A remake of the CDI game?
It'd be Nintendo trying to like push that down in search results on
right,
Google.
Just to be like, hey, don't remember this. Here's the actual one you want to think about.
Nintendo's next game will be Link: The Faces of Evil. It'll be completely different.
And the Wand of Gamelon.
Yes, of course. So I don't know. I don't really get where people are coming from with a lot of this stuff. Yeah. To me, it's all about the gameplay. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun. But we have to wait to see. Do you have any other thoughts about this one?
It looks very good, and I know people are. I saw some of the people saying they're like, oh, why don't you give like Zelda a sword? It's like, well, that's Link's thing.
Yeah.
If you want her with the sword, just play any other Zelda game.
Well, that reminds me of another thing I saw, and now we're just getting into things that annoyed us. But someone was like, oh well, of course it's got to be she rescues Link. That's what you do every time when you're trying to flip a trope. But I'm like, okay, if Link was just like not around. Like, you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be like, where is he?
Yeah.
Why isn't he helping out?
People will be like, where is he? Yeah, like, why isn't he helping Zelda? It's like, someone's going to get mad either way. Like,
exactly. I think it makes sense to... And who knows? Maybe Link is just fucking dead. Maybe he died there in the opening. We don't know.
On the box art, like, it's literally just his ghost. Like, as he's, like, floating to heaven. It's like, all right, Zelda, it's up to you now. Like, I'm dead.
I saw that too, actually. That was maybe the most like petty complaint. The Link on the box art is technically larger than Zelda.
Oh my god.
Like the dimension. I'm like, dude, he's like faded off into the background. Like, I think Ganon is bigger than Link even.
He is.
Like what?
So you're like, why are you getting mad about these like tiny?
Yeah, I don't get it. Anyway. With all that out of the way,
tangents aside,
I'm looking forward to this. I think it will actually be. I think it'll be a pretty big hit.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll pull off the princess-centric game, I guess, better than Showtime did by all indications. All right. And then we are gonna have to talk about this. Dempa Man.
Of course.
Actually, I have nothing to say about that. I think the most interesting thing was that it said it's like a
timed exclusive. I'm thinking it'll go mobile.
Yeah,
because there is the one that's, I think it was Japan only, that was on mobile. That might even be this game, to be honest.
Oh, sure.
But like, if that's the case, then they're bringing it to the Switch, and then they're probably gonna put it on mobile in like the States, and like the worldwide, like later on. Then.
Right. Well, we see when they said that, instantly my mind starts going like, could Nintendo? Because is Denpaman first party? It is, right?
I don't think so.
It's not.
Actually. I'm gonna search real quick. So
Okay.
You can keep talking while I look it up.
Well, I mean, in my mind now, the idea of like platform exclusives kind of disappearing. I mean, Horizon was the big one for this direct.
Yeah.
Where we saw the PlayStation Game Studio or whatever on screen right next to the Nintendo Switch logo during a Nintendo Direct, and it was surreal.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
And maybe it's just the fanboy in me. I'll admit I
Right.
enjoy Nintendo, so maybe it's that. But like the idea of Nintendo stuff sort of making its way onto other platforms makes me nervous. But
So I did look it up.
okay,
It is published by Genius Sonority, who
it's
develops
published
it.
by them.
Yes.
Okay,
And I don't believe they're owned by Nintendo at all.
all right. So
So-
there you go. It is sort of one of those examples of a series that has been mostly on Nintendo, but not a Nintendo
Yeah.
series. Okay, gotcha. All right, well, let's wrap it up here with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Again,
Yeah.
it sounds like a fake title.
Yeah. I was like, I'm even surprised they gave it a subtitle
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yep. I mean, it follows the trend because there was Metroid Prime 2 Echoes,
Yeah.
not to be confused with Echoes of Wisdom,
Of course.
Zelda.
And then the 3 Corruption.
So for having a subtitle, it does make
I think
some
it makes
sense.
sense. Yeah.
I don't know. Did it look good? I'll say this. I thought that it looked a little muddy visually.
Oh,
not
yeah?
not that the like assets didn't look like high resolution or
Yeah.
didn't like look impressive, but kind of muddy in that way that some of the later Halo games do, where there's not enough contrast between elements in the environment, so it all just kind of looks dark.
Yeah, kind of like blurring together a little.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's concerning, especially in a game all about exploration.
Yeah.
As you want to be able to pick out the details.
Right.
So we only saw how much of it, like 2 minutes maybe.
Yeah,
but
not very much. And
that is something that I kind of.
Yeah, and also we still have to wait again till next year for this. So
Yeah.
Speaking of like the longest ways, but depending on when it releases, it'll be 8
Oh
years
my god!
since the game was first announced, and then when it's finally coming out.
It's been a long wait.
Yeah. And I think it's restarted development at least once within
Yeah.
that time.
Well, I remember the video where they're
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
"Yeah,
oh,
guys,
like,
it's not working out. We're
yeah.
trying again."
Yeah, it's like just restart it.
How are you? Are you looking forward to this one, or like how are you really feeling about it?
I mean, I'll probably still get it because like
Yeah.
I haven't actually really played. I've only finished the original Metroid Prime. Like I have the trilogy on my Wii.
Yeah.
Because I've got that, and then I'll probably try to like pick up a copy or do something for like Hunters because I know that'll be kind of tied in with like Silex coming in.
That'd be really cool if that one got a remake of some sort.
Yeah.
Or a remaster.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna pick it up too. I wonder if this will be a cross-gen title.
That's what I'm thinking as well, to be honest.
According to all indications, this was running on Switch 1, the visuals we saw. Because there were some people who were like, wow, that looks so good, maybe it's Switch 2. But they did like pixel counts,
Yeah.
and it's like the same resolution as Prime Remaster.
Yeah.
Like exactly the same resolution.
Yeah.
So it's probably the same tech.
Yeah.
Which I think is what everyone was thinking
Yeah,
anyway.
it makes sense as well.
I could see it there'll be a cross-gen title. The Switch 2 looms large over the future.
Right. Especially because like there's like no talk about it at all in the direct, which they had announced beforehand anyways.
Right. Just so people wouldn't be like, where was it?
And I think people were still. I even saw some people were so mad that they're like, "Hey, you mentioned it here," so like that clearly, like it's like does that count as you talk? Is there being a mention of the direct of it?
It's like how you fell into.
It's like no, you fuckers! Like shut up! Like no, they're literally saying it's like, hey, we're not gonna talk about it all in this direct, so shut up.
We'll just have to wait and see for that one.
Yeah.
It's still going to be a while. But yeah, this could be a cross-gen title. It's definitely, out of everything shown, it's positioned the best to be one. Because it's not even like mid-2025 or whatever. It's just like 2025.
So it literally could be December of next year.
It could be the holiday game. Who knows? It'd be definitely choice if they decide to go that direction with it. Anything else we want to talk about? Anything that you were really hoping for that didn't happen? Other than the obvious one.
I'm like, do we need to get the clone wig and nose on again for our always talking about Earthbound and Mother 3?
Okay, so I'll briefly say this. There was annoyingly some like rumors right before the direct, like talking about how an Earthbound related concert was happening, and there's
Mm-hmm.
like sign up early on the 17th because there's going to be a big thing that happens.
Yeah.
And there was all this talk about an Earthbound remake right before the Direct, and it didn't happen. So I do feel a bit clownish.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it never happens.
Yeah.
So we kind of knew that going in.
Yeah, it's like we already knew, like we kind of like take it upon ourselves to be clowns when this happens. And we're like, hey, surely this time. No.
Nope, never is. All right, well, I think that's everything, right?
Yeah, everything that, I mean, obviously there's more stuff in the Direct, but like a lot of it's like stuff we don't care about. So
I don't think we need to say anything about Luigi's Mansion 2 or NES Edition Classics Remix Championship, whatever it's called.
Something along those lines.
Yep, I think that's all for us. Thanks for joining me, Jordan, and we'll be back
Eventually.
Goodbye.
Bye.